So hello students, welcome to our next session. So in our previous session, we had seen what is NPV, how to calculate NPV, and we had also seen other techniques of capital budgeting. So in this session, we'll learn what is internal rate of return and how it works, right? So first thing is that this topic, when you want to understand this, this is slightly technical when compared to other methods. So pay attention. So this is how internal rate of return works. What is internal rate of return basically about? Internal rate of return is the discount rate that equates the present values of cash inflows with the initial investment or present value of cash outflows associated with the project, thereby causing NPV to be zero. What does this mean? Internal rate of return is a rate at which your net present value of cash inflows is equal to your net present value of cash outflows. So here you are calculating what is that rate of return, right? What is the rate of return that when applied to discount your cash inflows, right, equates to the cash outflows. For example, if you are spending 100 rupees today and you would have earned 200, 150, 175 and so on for rest of the 5 years, correct? At what rate should we discount all this 150, 200 rupees, 175 or whatever the cash or inflows for 5 years? At what rate should it be discounted so that the present value of cash inflows will be equal to present value of cash outflows, which will actually result in the net present value to be zero, correct? So we have a formula that is, you can note it down, R minus PV minus DFR divided by DFRL minus DFRH. You can actually by heart this formula, or I'll teach you how to remember this formula, right? You can make it as plus or minus, anything is fine. I'll tell you why it is fine, right? So we'll start with the problem. So there is a project which actually costs rupees 36,000 and is expected to generate cash inflows of 11,200 annually for 5 years. This is a very simple problem because the cash inflows is uniform for 5 years, right? Today you are spending 36,000 and every year you are earning the sum of 11,200 for 5 years. Any of them have not given us the terminal value. So this is one of the simplest problems where we can get. Right. First step one, calculate the payback period. Right. How do you calculate payback period? You just have to divide the total cash inflows, the total cash outflows divided by the cash inflows. How much will it be? Let me open my calculator. Right. What is this? 36,000 divided by 11,200. 3.214. Right. Now, so you have got your payback period, right? Your payback period is approximately 3 to 4%, correct? It lies somewhere between 3 and 4. Now we just have to check where exactly this 3.214 lies in your present value tables, present value of annuity tables. So I've taken your present value of annuity. This is your present value of annuity table under fifth year. What is the number we have derived here? What that is the payback period? It is 3.214. You need to search for 3.214 here. So it lies between 16% and 17%, right? So let us write it as, for 16% it is 3.274. For 17% it is right. I'll just show you a shortcut as to how exactly do we solve this, right, before applying the formula. I just feel that even the formula tells you the same thing, but this is how I usually, I personally follow. So you would actually, you have earned 3.2. I mean, the figures. If you look at the figures, for 16% it is 3.274. For 17% it is 3.199. So what is the difference? The difference is for 1% change. For 1% change, there is a difference of exactly 75. 0.075. Correct? How much will it take for what is the actual the what is that we require? We require a jump from 2.2 sorry 3.274 to 3.214. What is the difference? 3.214. We require 0.06 to meet this 3.214 figure, right? To meet this, we need 0.06 extra. So we just have to cross multiply 0.06 divided by 0.075, which is equal to 0.08, sorry 0.8. Now add the least, if it is 16 and 17, you need to take 16%. 16% plus 0.08% gives you 16.8% IRR. So this is how you solve it. To just give a brief about the entire thing. First thing, step number one, whatever project costs were there, that is 36,000 in this case, correct? Divided by the annual cash flow for annual cash flows. So you will be arriving at 3.214. Now, here they have given it as 11,200 annually for 5 years. Now, go to the present value table. Under fifth year, check for this figure of 3.214. Where is 3.214? 3.214 lies between 16% and 17%. Now, 16% it is 3.274, 17% it is 3.199. We need 3.214. So you just have to cross multiply. For this 1% jump from 16 to 17, the difference is 0.075. How much percentage should we add to 16% so that there is a jump of 0.06? So I have cross multiplied it and I have arrived at 0.8%. Add 16 plus 0.8, which gives you 16.8% of IRR. I'll do one thing now. I'll just take the formula as it is and try to solve it using the formula. R is 16%. Either of the two interest factors used in the formula. I've taken the lower one. You can either take 17 and subtract it, or you can take 16 and add it. Please take 16 itself because uh, most of the time you might, there are chances that you might get confused. What is PB? PB is nothing but this payback period what we have earned, 3.214. minus, what is DFR? DFR is nothing but discount factor for interest rate R. What is the discount factor for 16%? It is 3.274. Right. We have to divide it by what is DFRL, the discount factor of least one, that is 3.276 minus highest one, that is 3.199. You will arrive at, if we solve this, 3.214 minus 3.276 divided by you must be able to arrive at 16.8%. So that would be our internal rate of return, right? So students, in our previous session, we had seen internal rate of return for a particular, for a equal cash flow, right? The cash flow was spread out equally for a period of time. Like that project was giving you a cash inflow of 11,200 annually for 5 years. That 11,200 was constant for 5 years. In that case, you could, you were able to consider that as an annuity, and based on that you calculated the payback period, and for that particular year you were able to map the required discounting factor, correct? However, when it comes to multiple different cash flows, for example, I have taken an illustration. This illustration has different cash flows for different years. First year it is giving you 30,000, second year it is giving you 30,000, third year 40, and fourth year 45,000. So how do we calculate internal rate of return for this? And please be careful that, and please ensure that uh, this internal rate of return, this method doesn't have a particular scientific method of solving a problem. What you can do is that you need to have a trial and error method for solving these type of problems. Uh, you need to actually implement that trial and error method. I'll teach you how to solve these type of problems using Excel, right? We'll start. I've taken the same things, whatever I'd written there, the same things I've taken. Present value factor. Now, the first step is that you take a uh, random present value interest rate, right? For example, I'll start with 12%. We need to check where exactly this will amount to. We need to actually check what percentage of discounting will give us the zero NPV. We'll try it out with different interest rates. First, I'll start with 12%. 12% states that I'll copy these figures, right? Mark it here for your reference. Right. Now multiply column B with column C, that is your right. I've just multiplied the cash flows with the present value factor, what we used to do initially, the same thing, and we'll see if it is amounting to 0. There is a difference of 7,800. So I mean here, if you observe this, the present value of cash inflows are more than the present value of cash outflow. We need to nullify that. So I'll try it out with a higher rate. I'll take 14%. I'm sorry. Still, even after taking 14%, the present value of cash inflows are more than present value of cash outflows. I'll try it out with 15%. Yes. Now it has come to 3 digits, right? I feel we are somewhere close. Now we'll take 16%. Right. So if you observe here, at 15% we are arriving at a positive NPV, and at 16% we are arriving at negative NPV. So which means that 0, that is 0 NPV lies somewhere between 15% and 16%. We'll test it uh, using our formula, right? So I'll copy paste. I'll see if we can paste it there. Yes. All right. All right. So we'll there is a method called interpolation, that is nothing but your cross multiplication. To keep it simple, that is nothing but your cross multiplication. We'll just apply a simple cross multiplication. 15% plus. There is a small portion we need to add to 15%. There is a small decimal percentage we need to add it to our 15% so that NPV becomes 0. We'll see what is it. For 1%, that is a jump of 1%, that is from 15 to 16, is resulting at a change of, there is a difference of 2210 for 1%. How much percentage should we add to 15% so that it becomes 840? Correct? This 840 has to be nullified. 140. We just have to cross multiply 840 divided by 2210. 840 divided by 2210 gives us 0.38. Add the same thing here, 15.38 percentage. So your internal rate of return for this project is 15.38 percentage. Just to show you the verification, this is not important or they wouldn't ask you for your examination, but let's try, just see if this 15.38% is actually resulting in zero NPV. We'll test the NPV at this rate. Present value factor at 15.38 percentage. How do we calculate present value factor? 1 divided by 1.1538 whole to the power of, I'll make it as 4 digits. Oh god, yes. Right. So at 15.38 percentage, the present value cash inflow, or sorry, the net present value has become negligible. That is minus 30 rupees. Let's, yeah. So if you discount the cash flows of this project, whatever cash flows they have given, at 15.38% or 39% approximately, you will derive at NPV to be 0. So this is how exactly your internal rate of return works for multiple cash flows. For single cash flow we have already seen, so this is for your multiple cash flow. So in our next session we'll see about modified internal rate of return. Modified internal rate of return came into picture because of the various drawbacks of your internal rate of return.